Alright guys, what you're going to need to make this project with is duct tape, a mortar and pestle, a ramrod to make your tube with, meal black powder, a film canister with top and bottom, a hot glue gun, some sort of paper to make your shell with. I'm using printer paper, visco fuse, a drill and drill bit that can drill a hole for your fuse, some sort of a tool to make holes with. I'm using an ice pick, some sort of material for end plugs. I just use sticky notes for this. You can really use anything you want. Same sort of paper you made the tube out of with will also work. And some sort of material to make your flash bag out of. This can really be anything, but I'm using paper towel. However, if you don't, obviously I don't know who doesn't have paper towel, but you could also use wax paper. Just about anything, computer paper, so on and so forth. Anyway, alright, let's move on to the assembly. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is drill a fuse hole near the bottom in the side of your film canister. I suggest using a 1/8 inch drill bit for most visco fuse. However, I'm going to drill a smaller one because the diameter of my fuse is smaller. Alright, now what you're going to want to do is take your paper. I actually ended up deciding to use 2 strips. These are 4 centimeter long pieces of paper. And you want to take your ramrod and wrap your paper around your ramrod. I find it helps to wrap it on your knee so you get it tighter. So just start wrapping it up there, and try to keep it fairly even there. You can see I'm not really deviating too much from the original wrap. Alright, now what you're going to want to do is take your glue gun and run a bead of glue all the way down your first piece of paper. And then, once that's had a little bit of time to cool, take your second strip of paper and do the exact same thing. Alright, now on to the next step. Alright, now after removing your strip of paper here from the ramrod, it might be like mine where it's a little bit loose and it might be inclined to slip apart. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue around the edge here so as to keep it in place. And then doing the same thing on the other side. Doesn't need much, just enough to keep it from falling apart when you're trying to construct this. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is make yourself a plug for each end. So, take a good sized piece of paper and just crumple it up like that and stick it in your tube, and then grab your ramrod, push it in there, and push it down. And it also helps if you have some sort of bludgeoning device. I guess I'll just use a railroad spike. And then tap it all the way down to the end and pull it out. You should have a nice little plug in there. And there's one, and then you're going to want 2. So one of these you're going to want to have a smooth side so that you can insert your fuse into it. So try to crumple it so one side is smooth. And this can be kind of a challenge sometimes. Just trying to get it all to fit in there and stuff. Alright, that seems to work. Alright, now you have your 2 plugs. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do is punch a fuse-sized hole in one of your plugs. So, take your plug and grab your punching device or whatever you want to use. You can use a drill or anything else. And then just tap it until it's gone all the way through. Like that. I'm not sure how well you can see that hole. And just enlarge it until it's fuse sized. Now, the next step is to cut your fuse, and if you're using a flash powder lift charge, you're going to want to have one continuous fuse because it's impossible for the flash powder to light a secondary fuse because it burns so fast. So, take your fuse and your container and fit it through the hole and fit it up into it like that until you think you have a decent amount of fuse in there for your time fuse, and then also for the other part of the fuse for running away. So just fit it in there like that. I think that should be maybe a little bit more. That should probably be enough. And cut your fuse. Now, for this, you never want to use scissors, as those can generate sparks, so you can use a knife, or as I'm using here, anvil cutters. Now, the next step is going to be making a flash bag. So take a piece of your paper towel or whatever else you want to use, and just make it into a nice little bag shape like that. You can hot glue it if you want. I think I'm going to. So just stick a bead of hot glue in there, and then hot glue it shut, and then we'll put the powder in. Okay, so now I'm going to put in the black powder into the flash bag. I'm using about this much black powder, and you just want to go ahead and come on, just want to kind of pour it in there. And again, this is a very experimental method. It's not very polished yet, so this may or may not work. You're gonna have to tweak this on your own a little bit in order to get it to work. And then you want to take your fuse and stick the fuse in there, and then just kind of close it up like that, and there you have yourself a little flash bag. And now, in order to completely close it up, you're going to want to tape it. Alright, now what you're going to want to do is put some masking tape or any other sort of tape around your fuse like this in order to create some time fuse inside of your mortar.